It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe, host and producer of the show The Legends. And today I have Mr. James Lofton. How you doing, James?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
All right, man. I'm glad to have you, man. It's been a while and we kept in contact and now you're here. So
Yeah.
now we're going to talk about the beginning of James Lofton. How did you get into actually being a DJ and how did you start?
Well, my uncle and a friend of the family, they used to do stepper sets in Chicago. And I used to travel with them. And instead of me playing the steppers music, they would have me play the dance music. So within their stepping sets, we'd switch out and I get on the turntables and I have the upbeat music for the older crowd. That's how I started. And that was
Okay.
back in the mid 80s.
Okay. In the 80s, they had some real fabulous DJs out, and
Oh
who
yeah.
influenced you. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody has a person that really influenced them, to really come out to be, who they want to be.
That's correct. I had a lot of influences,
Name a
especially
few of them. Name a few of them.
well, Hot Mix Five. Radio DJs like Farley, Jack Master Funk, a lot of the underground DJs, Ron Hardy, Frankie Knuckles. All the Chicago legends. That started this house music thing.
Okay. So you're a really true believer that house music really started in Chicago.
Well, I say, yeah, I really do believe that uh, the word house music. When you say house music, I'm not talking about the disco. I'm talking about uh, getting your own drum machines and your own keyboards and actually producing your own sound in your home. Yes, I
Okay.
believe that started right there in Chicago.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. And I always ask DJs this, your first live crowd that you actually played professionally, how did
Hmm.
you feel and what was running through your head?
Oh wow, the adrenaline was something else. It was one of those nights where we had 4 1,200 turntables up on the stage, and my friend he was playing the crowd, and I was playing at the crowd. We was playing the crowd at the same time, tag teaming, and the crowd was just going wild because that was one of the nights I prepared my crate. I was playing all classics. I was
Okay.
hitting them back to back with classics, and just to see the response of the people, that's something that you can't buy. It's just a great feeling.
So if you had to do it again, what would you actually do again? I mean, if you had to really go back to that moment at that time of when you was actually starting again, would there be something else that you would actually want to just do again?
Yeah, only thing I would have done different is connected with more DJs at that time because I knew of a lot of the DJs. I just didn't know them personally. So yeah, I wish I would have had that opportunity to actually connect with them and find out, the ins and out of the business at that time.
Okay. So, let's talk about your first production, man. 1987, Move
Yeah,
Your Body. Now,
great
is there
year.
a story behind that or,
Oh yeah, this is that's a
well, let's
story.
talk, let's tell the viewers about the story and about the track.
Okay, well, Move My Body was one of those tracks. I used to produce the music in my uncle's basement, and
Okay.
had my little Casio keyboard and Dr. Rhythm machine, and pretty much I did a lot of demos back in the day. And the demo to Move My Body leaked, and a producer during that time who was pretty much a producer for all the house music that was coming out. He heard that demo and he presented it to me, an opportunity to make an album. I didn't think it was real at the time, but I said, okay, sure. And we end up in the studio and myself and Cynthia Moffett at the time, and I was standing in the studio like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I caught the bug and been doing it ever since.
So, how can you compare the music from the '80s to the now of the more current event music now?
The difference is technology. Uh,
Okay,
you can hear the difference in the sound quality. Things are pretty much easier than it was back then, with the
right.
technology. Uh, push a button, sync a button. But back then, everything was hands on. As you can see in your studio, you have to hook up everything. You had your MIDI cords. In the studio, you had pretty much wires everywhere. But now you can pretty much Bluetooth or, sync things up digitally. So it's totally different now.
Okay. Let's talk about some artists that you actually produce. Any offhand that you really want to bring to your viewers?
Um, well, this one lady, her name is Jocelyn Marie. She was I ran into her years ago at a jewelry booth, and she found out that I was a producer, and she wanted to make a record. She never recorded house music. She was always doing cover band music. So I gave her a track, and that night she wrote for me, and she came out with a nice song that we put out.
And how did it go? I mean, as far as your production, I mean, as far as when you put it out.
It did well. It did well, and to this day, her fan base has increased from it, and yeah, people are still downloading and playing it on Spotify. So, yeah, Jocelyn Marie is a great artist that I was able to work with.
So let's talk about the infamous Evelyn Thomas.
Oh,
How did you actually hook up with her?
oh, wow! I would say, well, the early 2000s. I ran into Miss Thomas. We was doing actually a function of hers at her studio, and we was DJing, and I just thought I'd bring along some demos, some music, because I was meeting one of the pioneers and one of the legends. I was like, here's an opportunity. So once I got there, I mean, we hit it off. She treated us like family, and we've been friends ever since.
Okay. She's a very good friend of mine as well. I had her on my
Oh,
show, and
yeah,
she's a beautiful lady. And stuff. I
wonderful.
plan in the future of producing her. I got a bunch of tracks that I'm putting out next year, and I got her on my list.
Oh, great.
With some
She's
other
great to work with.
legends.
Yeah, she's a legend. Yeah.
High Energy was like.
Oh man, that's a staple.
That was like the sacred song when you go into the disco era. Everywhere that you went, you actually heard that song.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we actually adopted that song in our house music playlist,
Hmm.
and that was just part of our playlist. That was in the crate. We made sure that record was played in all the clubs in Chicago.
So 1990, you came out with "Baby Make You Move."
Oh,
Baby making. What is it? Baby
baby
makes
wants
to
to move.
move. Yeah,
Baby wants to move you.
yeah.
Yeah, that was on Gherkin Records. I had the pleasure of working with Brett Wilcox.
Right.
And, yeah, that was one of those situations where he heard one of my demos and he really liked that song. So he ended up putting that song on a compilation album with a lot of the other pioneers of house music like Frankie Knuckles. So that's one that's one of my accomplishments that I'm very proud of because the transition of that one 12-inch single, it went cassette, it went album, it went CD, it hit all the genres before those other styles of formats faded out. Like the cassettes. We don't have that no more. So that was a big accomplishment for me, and that was my
So okay,
solo. That was my first solo album.
okay.
Outside of with Cynthia Moffett, and that was my very first solo project that it did it for me.
So getting back to Evelyn Thomas,
Mhm.
how did you guys come up with Black and White? And I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Yes, she can go into more detail, but I do know it was because of what's going on now. with the way the world is, and when you listen to the lyrics of the song, it makes you ask that question. Does color of your skin really matter when we all are
Right.
the same? We all are the same. We all bleed red. So, but the I really love that track, and I was honored to actually do a production with her on it.
Hmm.
And I really love it. I really love it. And when it come out, I can't wait for the people to hear it.
Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take a little pause and for station identification and some commercials, and we'll be right back.
For the love of house,
The dynamic
For the
soul
love of
sounds of
for the love of
DJ
dance.
Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe.
That's nice, 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 nice,
DJ Tyrone Lowe. The dynamic soul sounds of DJ Tyrone Lowe.
This is Tyrone Lowe, and I'm back with the legends with my guest, James Lofton. What's going on, James?
Hey, thank you for having me once again.
Let's talk about some current events, some things that you're actually upcoming with that you
Mhm.
might want to actually tell to the viewers.
Uh, well, pretty much. I've been grinding in the studio, still working on new projects, new new EPs. I'm currently doing a lot of remixes. So you will be hearing about them. It's on all digital platforms at this moment. But the most current EP that was released was called "Open Your Mouth." Yes.
Okay, that's what's up. Um, I always ask DJs when I interview them, upcoming DJs that are coming up right now and producers,
Mhm.
any type of suggestions for them?
Yes. Right now, I'm working with some current up and coming DJs, and one thing that I actually teach them is learn how to blend your music. Don't rely on the sync button, because you know computers do go out, and if your sync button go out, you need to know how to blend and learn your music. Just don't play the music, but learn the song. Know where the breaks are. Make the transition sound good. That's the way I was taught. That's the way I've seen older DJs, and you being a DJ yourself, you know about the breaks and the ruckers, the meltdowns and the build up. Transition is important, and that's one thing I can say.
So, as a producer, are you into just one genre of music, or are you doing other genres as well?
I'm doing other genres as well. If you look at my catalog, I released a couple of stepping EPs. Being from Chicago, stepping is big. So, yeah,
Right.
stepping. Actually, my son is into hip hop and rap. So, I've also worked with another up and coming artist. And her name is K Soul, and she does a lot of soulful R&B style of singing. So yeah, so different genres. I'm not stuck in that one box. I don't want to do that. I just want to branch out and work with all styles.
That's good versatility as a producer, man. I think that's a good way to actually go, because
Yeah,
you can consistently keep the money coming in.
that's correct.
You know,
Correct.
James, as a DJ and a producer, you
Mhm.
know, and the transition that we're going through right now with the pandemic, is it affecting you in any type of way?
Oh yes, yes, it is. Yeah, because a lot of the places are shut down at the moment, and with the restrictions of not allowing so many people in. Uh, yeah, it affects you. People want to have private parties, but still, it's not the same. Before the pandemic hit, I was actually resident DJ, and we was doing house music and stepper sets within the same night. So, but that venue is closed down now. Not sure when it's going to open up. So, but yeah, it affects you.
So, I mean, if you had a chance to actually do it and get to start all over again, what would be your first project? What would be the first thing that you would actually do? I mean, once the pandemic dissolves, you're just going to just go forward and just start doing things and just making it happen, or are you just going to wait a while and just surprise your viewers?
Well, well, right now I believe you know just keep on trucking, keep on moving. Even though things are slow now, I believe you must keep the drive up. I still get in the studio. I still love what I'm doing. I'm not letting the situation that's going on in the world
Right.
affect me producing, because that's something that I love. You can't attach money to everything, especially when there's something that you love.
That's
And that's
true.
why I still get up. I still get in the studio, still produce, still do the mixing, still do the editing and the remixes. That's something I love doing. And if I have to share it to the world free, that's what I would do, because that's something I love to share. I just love that.
Well, I got a fetish, man. Sam Mash and Guitar Center, man.
Mm,
I mean, I'm
really?
I'm consistently, upgrading my studio to
Right.
perfection, man. Because as a professional that I am, it's always good to upgrade to the certain point. To you might get in a studio and you just
Hmm.
might need something to actually accommodate that track.
That's
And
true.
I'm consistently looking for upgrades on my system,
Hmm.
man. And you know, my significant other is probably like saying, "Wow, this is where he put all his money." But the whole thing about it is, I make it back,
Yeah, that's right. That's
and some. You know what I'm saying?
right. That's
And
true.
keeping up with all the newest softwares, because I'm also a contractor engineer, and
Oh
going into
wow.
different studios, you need to know all these softwares in order to
True.
get paid. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
And that keeps you going.
Hmm.
You know.
Hmm.
But James, it's been a pleasure having you on my show, and
Thank you for having me.
being very informative to the viewers.
Yes.
And any shout outs?
Evelyn Thomas, legendary Evelyn Thomas, K Soul, you know, these are some wonderful people. Houdaney of Per Liquor Records, I'd like to thank him, and Danny Wilson. I'd like to thank him also because he dropped that knowledge in me in the beginning, and I've been doing it ever since. So, and I'd like to thank you also.
Thank you.
For your time and allowing me to come on and express myself. And thanks to all the fans who's buying the music, who's streaming the music and listening to the music, because it won't be us without them. So
That's true.
yeah.
Before we actually dissolve this footage, I'm going to ask you a question, man, and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to be actually at least 5 years from now? You know, how would you paint that picture for yourself?
Still creating music for others, making them happy, just to see smiles on their face. Retired, watching my kids continue to do great in school and take care of my family and my wife.
That's a good thing. Yeah. So there it is, James Lofton, DJ producer. Check out this footage, get some information, listen to his music, support him. You know, and this is another T-Lo Vito production, and stay tuned for another footage. And I thank you guys for tuning in.
Can you really choose your destiny? Can you choose what path your heart will seek? Will you choose black, yellow, red, or white? 'Cause love has chosen all tonight, baby. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Can you really choose your destiny? Can you choose what path your heart will seek? Will you choose black, yellow, red, or white? 'Cause love has chosen all tonight, baby. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight. Black, yellow, red, or white, all love in its sight.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.